Audrey, also known as Noble Strength, and welcome back to my channel. Today we're in my kitchen and I want to share with you how to make one of my favorite snack items. It's called Guacamole Salseras. You've probably had it before when you've gone to Mexican restaurants. That's when I was introduced to it, but now I'm making my own version at home because you can't always eat out now, can you? So we're going to start with some essentials. Of course, you're going to need some avocados and you're going to need some tomatoes, those grape tomatoes or cherry tomatoes, cilantro, lime, a yellow onion, and some seasonings. I am going to be showing you what I use, and I'll give you some close-ups on exactly how I make it. So just stay tuned. Alright, so I have my ingredients here. As you can see, I've already began prepping. I have some avocados. Now when you're looking for avocados, you want to find an avocado that is not too ripe. You don't want it to be mushy. I cut one open. This one was a little overripe for the guacamole salsera, so I'm just going to scoop this out and eat it. I love eating avocados straight out of the casing, the natural casing, so it's so yummy. So this one's going to be set aside for eating later, but when you get one, you want it to be a little firm, but you want it to have some give. If you push it with your thumb, just a little give, not too much. So the ones that I have here, this one is a little hard, so this one is not giving. It's not quite ripe yet, so I'm going to be using these. So we're going to do 3 avocados in this guacamole salsera, and then I have some grape tomatoes, but you can use cherry tomatoes for that. And then of course cilantro. I love lots of cilantro, so as you can see, I've already de-leaved the stems, and we're going to dice those up. And you're going to need 1 small yellow onion cut in half. You're only going to use half of the onion. So the first thing that I normally do is after I slice my avocado, I just go in and I make the lines or slits inside going crossways like a hatching technique, and then I scoop those out into a bowl. So that's the technique you're going to use. Now as far as popping out the seed, I just use my knife and I kind of lift out the seed, and I'm going to go ahead and cut those. Now as far as the tomatoes, what I normally do is I will slice them in half and then in quarters. So I will do that because I like a pretty chunky guacamole salsera. So I'm going to do that to all of the tomatoes. And then the next thing that I do is I just kind of gather all my leaves, and then I begin just kind of dicing them. So just go ahead and dice all of those up, and then I'll show you how I'm going to go from there. So just say that all of that's been done. Let's go to the next step. Alright, so I've got everything prepped. I've already kind of scored the avocados, so I'm just going to be scooping those out in this clear Pyrex dish here. And I'm not going to mash these up. I'm going to leave them in the squares or cubes that they're in. So we're just going to scoop those in there. And we're going to do this with all of the halves of the avocados. And we're going to just kind of go around in a circle. Some of them come out really easy. They were a little riper than what I thought. So we're scooping those in, then we're going to add the diced tomatoes, cherry tomatoes, or you can use the grape tomatoes, either one. So we're scooping all of those in. As you can see, that's what it's going to look like. And get all of that in there. Alright, so now that we have all of that inside, we're going to add the tomatoes. And it's okay about the seeds or it being a little juicy. It's good. It's going to get eaten up anyway. So that little extra juice I'm just going to leave out. So got that out the way. I'm one of those people, I kind of like to clean as I go along. I hate having a messy kitchen as I work. So we're going to add the onions, and we're just doing a half of an onion that has been diced. It doesn't have to be finely diced, just a little bit. So now that we have the main ingredients, you're just going to give that a light and gentle folding or toss. Isn't that nice and colorful? This is what I like about making things at home. You know exactly what's going in it, and so you can kind of gauge how much. And so we're going to sprinkle that fresh cilantro in there, and that's another thing I like. Everything is fresh. You can buy organic if you want, so you know exactly what is going inside. So I've added the cilantro. We're going to give one of these halves of lime a little bit of squeeze in there. So you have to just kind of season it to your taste. I usually try to get as much out as I can there. And we're just going to put that to the side. And like I said, I'm not going to smash this up. So now it's kind of moistened with that. So this is the part where you add your seasonings. Now, in the past, before I tried to be more conscientious about what I put in my body, you know, being a good steward of your body, I would buy these little pre-made packets in the produce section, and they're so full of sodium. So I found another option of doing it myself, and this is a brand that I really like. I believe you pronounce this Saison Tropical, and as you can see, I pretty much used all of that, but I'm not sure exactly where my husband bought this, but I'm sure you can find it at a grocery store. No MSG. And what I like about this is that it is low in sodium, only 75 milligrams of sodium in a serving, and a serving is 1/4 of a teaspoon. So I'm going to use the rest of what I have of that in there, and normally I don't measure. I do not measure out, but just for the sake of this, I'm going to sprinkle in there because there's not much left in there. So you can see that's about what was left, but I usually do a little bit more than that. And since I don't have any more of this, I'm going to add a little bit of Mrs. Dash. So this is salt free, and I'm just going to sprinkle however much I think is good, maybe 5 or 6 shakes, and then just kind of give that a toss, and that gives it that flavor because it has the garlic in there, the onions, and all of that, and even a little carrots, a little bit of everything, just to give it that little extra something. And then if you want just a little bit more salt, since this did not have much salt and there wasn't much left, you can add some pink Himalayan salt or some sea salt. So I'm going to open that up and give that a little twist. And then we're going to toss that a little bit more. See, quick and easy and very nutritional. So the next thing that I want to do is give it a taste to see if that is going to be good. If you have prepped your guacamole salsera, you're ready to serve it however you'd like. You can put it in a veggie wrap. You can put it in whatever type of wrap. I'm vegetarian, so if you want, you could slice up some chicken and saute that in your favorite kind of southwestern seasoning. Put that in a like spinach wrap and put some avocados and some lettuce and kind of do a wrap thing. But I'm going to do nachos, or you can just serve it as just a dip. So if you just want to eat it with chips. Some of the things that I like to eat it with the chips is by a brand called Late July. And the one that I normally do is the organic sea salt brand. This is just plain chips. You can get this at Kroger, wherever, usually in the health section, because this is organic, and I like it because they're thin and crispy and really light, very yummy. So I'll usually eat that, but then the men in the house like to have a little bit of seasoning on their chips, so I also have gotten the jalapeno and lime by the same brand, as well as the nachos and chipotle by the same brand. Now these have about, say, 210 milligrams of sodium per serving, so that's why you don't want to have a lot of sodium in your guacamole. You want to kind of cut sodium out wherever you can. So we cut out quite a bit of sodium rather than buying the packet by making it ourselves. So that's just one way you can, you know, cut corners. And so what I'm gonna do is just do a basic nacho. I like to do the black beans. Sometimes my husband will soak the beans and we'll do it that way, but just for this video, I'm doing the quick and easy method. This is a brand that I like. This is the seasoned recipe by Bush, and really good. I just saute them on top of the stove and add, you know, a little bit of butter and a little bit of onion powder, and then just kind of simmer that a little bit, and then they're ready to be sprinkled on your chips. So I'm gonna go with the sea salt brand chips, and we're gonna doctor this thing up, and then we're gonna be ready to munch. So I'll let you see what it looks like when I'm done prepping it and putting it together. All right, so I've sprinkled just a little bit of this Kraft Mexican cheese on the nachos. I put down just a few nachos on the plate. Now I'm just gonna sprinkle a few of the black beans on top of the nachos, kind of sparingly just put those around. And I'm gonna do about 3 tablespoons of the beans. And then we're going to pop that in the microwave just for like 60 seconds, just long enough for the cheese to melt. And then we can add just a little extra something on there, if whatever you want, jalapenos, you could do olives, whatever you'd like. So we're gonna pop that in the microwave for 60 seconds. All right, so I popped it out of the microwave. I sprinkled a little bit of extra cilantro on there, and then scooped a nice amount of that guacamole salsera in the middle, and I am ready to throw down and munch. So it looks good and I am so hungry. I hope you enjoyed this little video on how I make my guacamole salsera, and I am just about ready to throw down. And remember, you can always do your body good by cutting out sodium, cutting out sugar, not eating out all the time. You can do it right at home and know exactly what's going in it. Just another way that you can be a good steward of what God has given you. Once again, this is Audrey, also known as Noble Strength, saying have a blessed day, and I'll see you later. Bye. Very good.